And now I'm getting into the lean concept. So they are very basic lean concepts that which we cover in the black belt training also, which you must be aware of. So, so lean, what is lean and what is Six Sigma, that we are going to talk about. So, and this is something which we discussed during the first day itself, that Six Sigma is reducing the variance and improving the current state. So therefore we look at both point of view. However, lean focuses on the elimination of any non-value added activities which are not relevant to our customers. Okay. So that's what is lean, and that's the evaluation of lean. And therefore in our projects, we don't say that it's a black belt or a green belt project. We say it's a lean Six Sigma green belt project, lean black belt project. So in the upcoming slide, you would find that why do we say so? Because there are some of the concepts that we can use in lean also. So there are principles of lean that you should be aware of, that it specifies the value of the customer, because in lean we focus on the customer. It identify the non-value added activities and by eliminating waste. So we'll talk about different types of waste in the upcoming slide. It make a value flow at the pull of the customer, because it starts from the customer journey. The very important principle of lean is that it empowers the employees and focus on the continuous improvement. Okay. So this is one chart which helps you to identify whether it's a Six Sigma opportunity or a lean opportunity. So if your cause is unknown, but the solution is very, very simple, then you go for an expert and take his advice and resolve it. However, if the cause is unknown and the process is very, very complex, then in that case, you go for a Six Sigma. You don't know the cause and the solution is very, very complex. So you can't take an expert advice. You have to go for a Six Sigma. In case if the solution is simple and known, then you just do it. You don't have to do for any kind of methodology or any kind of project. You just do it. However, if the solution is complex, but it is known, then in that case, you apply lean. So lean solutions are basically, you are aware of the cause and the solution. You just have to implement it, but it is not very easy. That's why, because it requires a lot of complexity. Therefore, lean methodology is being looked at. Okay. So now we will talk about different types of waste that we have in lean. And I'll just open all of that. So there is a abbreviation acronym which is called Tim Woods. You can see at the top. This defines the different types of waste that we have in our process, in our organization, which help us to look at it. Okay. So T stands for transport. Okay. Transport is a waste wherein we see unnecessary movements from one location to another. That's a transport waste. So for any organization, any workplace, you would see there's a lot of waste wherein too many data and information which has to move from one place to another. Okay. So we need to identify and ask that why it is there. So it's unnecessary movements of people, places. That's what we have to look at. That is transport waste. So we always need to identify that why it is there. Second is the inventory, I. Anything which is WIP, which is work in progress. That is also a defect, because that is not yet converted into a finished good. My customer will not buy it. I will not be able to sell it. I will not be able to market it. So if there are any unfinished goods which are lying in plenty, I'll have to question it. That's also a kind of a waste. Okay. So that's an inventory waste. Motion. Okay. Motion is very, very similar to transport. The only difference is that it is from one location to another. Motion basically talks about within the same location. So for example, transport says there is an unnecessary movement of people, data from one process to another, and motion says if there is any unnecessary movements within the same process. So just the scope, reduce it in the motion. It's also an unnecessary movement. So for example, there are different departments who are sitting at different offices, and for any sort of discussion, for any sort of meetings, you have to go to a different building altogether. You have to go to a different office altogether. So that's a motion, because there are unnecessary moments. Okay. So that's motion. Waiting, which is the next one, which is, you have to wait for the other person to complete that particular transaction. So for example, there are 3 different departments, and until and unless department A completes the work, department B can't do anything. And similarly, B and C, it's a waiting kind of waste. So for example, sometimes we have to wait for an approval in order to proceed further. So that is a waiting. And therefore, a lot of transaction is there in inventory. Okay, so all these are interrelated. So anytime when you're waiting for any data, waiting for any information, waiting for any approval, that is also a waste, because that is not adding any sort of value to our customer. It is, the cycle time is getting impacted, your customer satisfaction is getting impacted, your business number is getting impacted. So that's also very important thing to look at. Overproduction. So I'm producing more than necessary. My customer has asked for 3,000 units in a month. I'm producing 5,000, and I don't know whether this 2,000 are required or not. So that's an extra effort. Okay, I don't know whether it's required or not because my customer will not buy it. And sometimes it's if it's a very, very delicate product, it might get broken. It might get it can convert into a perishable product also, but my customer will not buy it. So that's an overproduction waste. Overprocessing waste is when we are doing more than checks which are required. A lot of quality checks are happening. There is one team who's doing the quality check, then there is a second team. Why can't we have the first time right? Why can't we come up with some automations? So if you find there is an overprocessing in your processes, you should always go ahead and try to kill it. Defects, we are already aware of. Anything which is not meeting the customer requirement is a defect. So if you see a lot of defects, a lot of reworks, a lot of missing deadlines, that is a defect type of waste. Last but not least is a skills. So as we know that we have hired somebody to do the finance types of transactions, he should be from a finance background, from a F&A background, and that guy is good at marketing. So that's a skill based. So I don't have the required resource. So if you find any of these waste in your projects also, okay, when you're doing any Six Sigma project, you should always look at from Tim Wood's perspective as well and try to find the opportunities and try and implement it. So these types of waste, if you go back and look at your respective processes, you would definitely find good examples in your respective processes, and you can label it as these waste and try making an action plan to work on it. So this is what Tim Woods is, wherein it focuses on the different types of waste in a process. Are you okay with it? Is there any question anybody has?
No.
Okay. Then there is another tool in Lean which is called 5. It should be 5 whys. I don't know, 5 ways. Okay, 5 whys. So 5 why is the perfect root cause analysis tool, which is help to get to the root cause of the problem, wherein we need to interrogate and ask questions at a regular time to get to the root cause. The technique to do 5 why is to focus on the specific problem and take a buy-in from the team to get to the root cause. So why it's 5 why? Because it's a standard wherein we have to get to the 5th level to get to the root cause. But sometimes we get to the root cause at the 2nd or at the 3rd level. So therefore, until and unless we get any actionable root cause, till the time we can get to the level. Sometimes it takes 6th or 7th level to get to the root cause. Okay. So one good example could be, why have I reached late to the office? A reason could be there was a lot of traffic in between. Why there was a lot of traffic? Because there was a strike. Why there was a strike? Because the government rules and regulations were not being followed. Okay. So, till the time I don't get the root cause, I keep on the same question. That's what is the 5 whys analysis. So this is one perfect tool which can be used in the Six Sigma as well as in the Lean, which would help you to get to the root cause. I see anybody here.
Simar, can we use this in the analyze phase too?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So when you have your process doors causes for which you don't have the data, remember we discussed process door and data door.
Right. And yes.
Yeah. So when you have the process doors, that particular case, when you don't know, when you don't have the data and when you can't do any sort of hypothesis, any kind of data analysis, at that point in time, you can use the 5 whys to get to the root cause. So 5 why is although it's a lean tool, but it should be used in the analyze phase or Six Sigma project for the root cause analysis.